Are you trying to do this one?
No.
Is it that one?
Nah.
So you're doing this one.
Yes. Yes, I am. What's up, April here, and welcome back to The Struggle is Real, my YouTube channel where I do movie and TV reactions and reviews, all for your viewing pleasure. And also mine. Today I'll be reviewing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, the Netflix original movie based off of the stories of the same name. Now, for those of you that don't know, well before Disney came out with the movie Pinocchio in the 1940s, the original story of Pinocchio was created by Italian author Carlo Scarlatti in the 1880s, making the story of Pinocchio almost 140 years old. Now, Guillermo del Toro saw Pinocchio when he was a kid, the Disney version, with his mother, and was inspired to do the movie as an adult. This movie, directed by Del Toro and Mark Gustafsson, a fellow director and animator, was a 15-year labor of love starting in 2008 and spanning 3 cities, collaborating artists, actors, and visionaries to produce the movie that we saw today. Now, the original story of Pinocchio is quite simple, and this movie does stay with the bones of that story, that a woodcarver named Geppetto carves a boy out of wood named Pinocchio, and he comes to life. But this story is very much different, and in the style of Del Toro's previous works, has his signature all over it. Similar to Pan's Labyrinth, this movie is set during a time of war, specifically in Italy during the rise of Mussolini, where Geppetto loses his son, Carlo, interestingly enough named after the creator of the original Pinocchio, and in his grief carves a wooden boy, which is brought to life by a wood sprite and named Pinocchio to help Geppetto get over his grief. Obviously, Pinocchio is the story of a boy who can tell no lies, for with every lie his nose gets longer and longer, and within his adventures and misadventures he finds his way into becoming a real boy. Now, Del Toro does this masterfully, not only in setting the story in a different setting, but also in his choice in animation style. Pinocchio is a stop motion animation, but is done in such a way that each and every single character looks as if it is actually carved out of wood. But even in doing that, the characters and the motion of the animation has such a fluidity that you almost forget that you're watching a stop motion film. To add on top of that wooden element, the composer of the movie, Alexander Desplat, actually made a point to have all of the instruments involved in the orchestra to be wood instruments only, from the woodwind section of the orchestra to cellos and violins, to really hammer in the wooden feel of the movie. And staying in line with music for a second, the movie also had original songs written by Del Toro that fit in with the themes of the movie. Now, that's not to say that this is a musical, because sometimes when you're watching a movie and it turns into a musical, you kind of feel that the movie is about to start singing a song. That's actually not what happens here. You could be watching a portion of this movie and then a character actually just randomly breaks into song. But it's almost as if when you're watching a live action movie and a song plays in the background when a character is doing something. The songs don't feel out of place in this movie because they were curated for the movie, and thus they actually drive the story along. Now, to add on to the musicality and animation work, the movie was also aided by a phenomenal cast of voice actors and actresses that are both veterans of working with Del Toro and also some newbies. From Ewan McGregor to David Bradley, Bern Gorman, Gregory Mann, Ron Perlman, John Turturro, Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, Tim Blake Nelson, Christoph Waltz, and Tilda Swinton. The cast was absolutely stacked. And when you're watching the movie, you can actually hear each and every person's different voice acting brought to the table, including Kate Blanchett, who literally just voiced a monkey, and she did a damn good job doing it. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, not only because I thought the stop motion animation was exquisite, and the animation style was different from anything that I've ever seen before, but also in the fact that you can tell by the work that was put in the movie for everyone that was involved, from the director all the way down to the actors and the animators, that this movie was very much a labor of love. Matter of fact, Del Toro said that when he saw Pinocchio as a young boy, it inspired him because he said that Pinocchio understood the pains of being a kid, and he felt like he related to him in such a way that he always wanted to do the movie. And in growing up, his mother would always gift him Pinocchio dolls, knowing that he wanted to direct the movie. Now, unfortunately, Del Toro's mother actually passed before the movie premiered, but he did say that he knows that she would be extremely proud of how the movie turned out, and I agree with him. I thought the movie was really solid. It weaved together an iconic story that everyone knows and brought new elements to it, and you can see Del Toro's handiwork all throughout the movie. Even though he didn't animate it himself, you can very much see with the different creatures, the story itself, and the ties into father-son dynamic that his handiwork is all over this film. And to be honest with you, I feel pretty certain that he's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar for this movie for Best Animated Film, and he might even win. But I definitely feel like this movie is going to be nominated in the upcoming award season. And even though this movie is rated PG, so it is considered a family movie and you can watch it with your kids, there are definitely adult themes scattered throughout the film that make it a worthwhile watch regardless of what age you are. I truly enjoyed this film, not only because, as I've said in a previous video, that Del Toro is one of my favorite directors in the industry right now, but you can see the passion and creativity in all of his works, and this movie is no different. The fact that the movie in itself took 15 years to make and this is the result, you can tell that every single person that was involved in this movie really pushed the envelope to put out a product that they could all be proud of, and it shows in the work that was presented. So I definitely recommend that you give this movie a watch. You may or may not shed a tear. I cannot confirm or deny whether or not I shed a tear watching this movie. That's not what this channel is about, but I can tell you that you should watch it. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me for this review of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. If you want to watch it, it is available currently on Netflix. If you've liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, more movie and TV reactions and reviews. And for The Struggle is Real, I have been April, and I'll see you real soon.